Welcome to Corner of Calm. Um, as I promised today, we're talking just a little bit about how we get in our own way. And I was prompted by this by something that happened the other morning. I was making my bed, which is the first thing I do every morning, and it's a little bit of close quarters. And the very first thing I did as I was between the closet and my bed was knock over the water glass that has been there every morning onto the floor, water everywhere. Glass was plastic, picked it up, cleaned it up. But I was thinking, there have been times when something like that happens that you say, oh, this is going to be a bad day. What's the next thing that's going to happen? Since for the first time in every time since I've lost her, I've knocked a water glass on the floor. And it's always a choice. It's a choice of whether to claim that, to say, oh, this is going to be a terrible day. This happened, and then I couldn't find this, and my face looks awful, and my hair never works, and you know, the dog had an accident, and et cetera, et cetera. Or like water glass. There's some towels in the washer that haven't been washed yet. I'll just grab those, mop up the water, put them back in the washing machine, and that's just the way the day began. Um, and I think that's an obvious example about how we talk about things really does sort of decide how we're going to get into a day or what we're going to be doing. But for me personally, another thing has been happening. Those have been sort of those insidious patterns that I'm slowly learning to just name and get rid of. For a while, it was something around age. And I thought I'd sort of gotten on top of it. And the other day, I was like really complaining to somebody. And I got home and I thought, oh. And so I'll name it now. The current thing that I've been giving myself a hard time was making me miserable, was wanting to be acknowledged and seen. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be acknowledged and seen and for my friends to know what I do. But in point of fact is my identity and even my relationship to them does not depend on that. And it was just like, I was lying here thinking there you go again. So I don't know what's going on now, but those are two examples, very different examples of getting in my own way on what can happen and how it is. So to wrap this up, I'd like to name two other things that we can do that are completely different from all this. And the second one I want to talk about is loving our body and loving it right now. Maybe because some part of me knew I was going to do this. But anyway, last night, for example, I felt really, really sick when I went to bed. So I loved on my body and I'm fine. That isn't always that answer. But the point is that something about being with who you're doing as you are absolutely doing something, that whole piece of embracing and claiming who you are physically, which is one of the things, especially I think, well, maybe not just as humans, not just as women, we do, actually keeps us from getting in our own way. So just to wrap up, the two things that are always good, that'll always do it, is one, to come back to the breath, to really intentionally breathe, and to remember to be grateful. Be grateful for those getting in your own way instances that you look at and go, oh yeah, nope, that didn't work, did it? But I saw it. Or the views out our window, or these miraculous bodies that we have whose only job is to keep us alive, and they do some odd things in that, fixing that. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for listening, and let's stay out of our way, okay?